Good evening. So we have a very, very special stream tonight. Tonight is somebody's birthday. And I thought it might be special to maybe go over a couple things about this individual, about their impact on our world, on Western culture, on their ability to bring Eastern culture and merge it with Western in a way that makes it actually accessible. Talk about his humor, talk about his contribution to, so many systems of knowledge that we use today, and about the why, who is this beast that we have so much to thank for. All right. And so we're going to take a look at a number of different angles today, probably from a different perspective than you might have seen, when talking about Crowley and his kind of ways, right? His ways, let's just put it that way. So there's a lot of ways that we can approach the subject, and so I thought we'd go through a couple of very interesting topics here. The first one is the beast emerges, and what we're going to do is kind of talk about how he emerged in my life, how this individual had an impact, and very, very early in my experience. This individual entered my life at about 6 years old, and that's going to be fun to talk about, and we'll go over some of the things in this book here that I have out. I want to apologize in advance if I have any lag on tonight's stream. I'm asking my computer to do a lot this evening. We're going to be listening to Crowley, do two of the calls, the Enochian calls, the first and second call. We're going to be looking at some pictures, obviously, of a progression over time to see this wisdom kind of grow into this personality that it became, and that we look at it almost like a mythical creature, right? And hopefully get to the core of some of the truth of that at the same time. That would be nice. But what I also thought would be fun to do is to maybe take a look at doing a chart. Let's take a look at his astrology chart. All right, let's take a look at his natal chart. Let's take a look at his Gematria. Let's take a look at all kinds of goodies, and just see if we can find anything interesting about some correlations or aspects that may point to how this individual wound up in this state of such a connection with this one truth, with this beautiful poetic ability to point to it. I wonder if his goal was ever to educate, or if it was more just to express his own understanding artistically, and if you happen to catch it, good for you, right? You'll have to excuse me this evening as well. I'm a little under the weather, and it's an important stream, so I wanted to do it, but I'm pretty wiped out. So, but that said, I think that's a good thing, because in the exhaustion, I think I might be able to just sort of channel some of this stuff here and keep it light, right? Ultimately, what we're talking about here is a human being. This is just a person. He happened to have been a genius, and the direction that he pointed that genius at is something that can benefit mankind in a way that very few truly understand, except for those that have gone through the work and done the exploration of this man's mind, and in that exploration have discovered themselves. And once you've done that, you can see the humor. You can see the goal of the work here, and that it wasn't at all what people think. And those who are left walking the planet that have some connection to this individual, I think have an obligation to express as much of the reality of this person as they can before there's no memories left, right? And so that said, though, I think a good place to start would be my own personal story, and how I really came to this knowledge to begin with, and to the path that my life took. Really began with this individual. Aleister Crowley was a major part of my life due to an accidental experience that I had, where I came across this book right here, book 4. I was very young when it happened. I had no idea what I was reading. It was just something that I sort of cracked open, thumbed through, and was immediately intrigued as a child, which you can imagine, right? I'm just going to move these little figures here. I thought it would be neat to have them on the corners. Tonight I have my John D wearing a different crown because I'm wearing my upside down heart on my pinky this evening. And so he's wearing a slightly different crown than usual. It's a different ring. With those 3 gems on top of each other. Luana, hello, Lauren. How's it going? I'm glad you're here. So it's a very special birthday today, and we're going to be celebrating the birthday of Aleister Crowley. Obviously, a major influence in the study of the tarot. Let me just put this candle back. I'm curious. Good evening. Welcome to a very special episode of The Sounds of Your Soul. Talking at you all night long. Okay, so all kidding aside, what we're going to be speaking about today is a number of subjects related to Crowley, and a lot of it is going to be based on having some fun, right? The goal here is always to remember what we're here to do. Which is to, if possible, come to the one truth, point to the one truth. And we can do that through play, and then taking what we learn and moving that into the inner order, right, where we use these tools. But that said, I thought it'd be really fun to begin on my story and how I came across this person, Aleister Crowley. This body of knowledge that I had no idea was pointing at basically the Kabbalistic system. And although he employs Eastern yogic meditation, Zen Buddhism, a lot of Eastern, but then merges it with the Western philosophies of the Rosicrucians, of the Hermetic, of the alchemical, and brings it into this beautiful system where you've taken all that, the Golden Dawn stuff and his influences there, and then merged it into this idea of Thelema, right? And so, and again, just to be clear, I have no affiliation with Thelema, OTO, AA, the Rosicrucian order directly. my only affiliation has ever been with Freemasonry, and it never went past Blue Lodge. Okay, so that said, my understanding of the OTO and Nephilim system is through my own experience and research and my own solo practice. So I just wanted to be clear on that. But how this all happened. My parents separated very young, and I was living with my father. I was about 6 years old, and my father worked a lot, and when he wasn't working, he was socializing, and so he was very frequently not home. And on the weekends, my sister and I, who were very young, were under 2 years apart in age. We're kind of left to our own devices. So long story short, I made a habit of kind of going through my dad's stuff. I think we've all done that, right? And I did it often. And occasionally would find things that, frankly, a child should not find, right? You know, and I grew up in a time where, you know, at this point, this is probably 1981 or 2, and things were a bit different back then. And you know, so I bumped into a lot of things that a child shouldn't really see. Well, one of those things, though, happened to have been this book. And so, you know, bumping into magazines and drug paraphernalia and all this stuff, you know, guns and crazy things. I survived it all. And this, I happened to grab, and this is not the original. The original is lost. It's gone. The one that I originally had an orange cover, had a big elongated 4 on it. It was a different symbolism. There was some Egyptian and some other characters and so forth. This is a very new print, but same book. And so I crack it. And it's so interesting. 444, what's that all about? ABA. These kind of interesting names. Right? It wasn't Wiser back then. I forget who the printer was. I forget. I wore it out so much that the print or the cover had come off.